cool experience for all of us, like something we had never done before. There was like a huge crowd of fans for us, which was like awesome. We had an awesome student section there too. So there was just a lot of energy. And yeah, it definitely was like a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
I was excited. I was very excited, especially when we would go on a run. And as soon as that whistle blew, nerves were gone. Anything I was like, worried about, gone immediately. And I was just like, lock in. We got to do this.
To be honest, I was feeling the heat. It was very hot in there. I couldn't tell if it was my nerves or if it was just really hot in there. The court, I think I adjusted to pretty fast. Like once we started playing. Definitely a little bit more winded than normal, probably just because the court was bigger and I didn't really get a sub, but as that aspect of the game, I think we adapted to pretty well.
I didn't realize how much I would notice the difference in the size of the court. But other than that, I thought we just kind of made it our own. We're loud, we're energetic, and those are the things I said before, like that's how it's going to make it feel like home. And we had a bunch of people come, which was really nice, and I thought that overall we made it feel pretty normal for us.
I definitely felt a little bit nervous leading up to the game. I think the atmosphere was great. I feel like our student section really pulled through. The parents were very, very into the game, and I think that we had a lot of energy coming from the sidelines, which was really beneficial throughout the game, but there was definitely still nerves.
When we were going in, I kept thinking about how do I make them comfortable with this new experience, let them feel the awe of it, but not let the awe of it freak them out, which isn't a very easy thing to do. So it was more just a discussion of, you're gonna have a loud crowd, we're gonna have a crowd, the court's gonna be bigger, it's a college court, so just embrace it, take it all in, look around, enjoy it.
Officials. And in the unlikely event of an emergency or a fire alarm activation, all occupants to leave the gymnasium via the nearest exit. And one more reminder, for the safety of the players, coaches, and officials, no fans allowed.
Went into the game thinking like I shouldn't really be nervous at all. It's just a basketball game and we worked hard to get here. We earned it, so why be nervous? Let's just go out there and play our game and give ourselves the best shot we can.
I know through warm-ups I didn't think I could take like a deep breath. Like I was nervous, and then the second like the tip went and I saw our team like competing from the start, I was like, all right, like we got this. And I think it made a big difference, especially playing such a good team, that we could get off to a strong start, because the game could have been over in the first couple minutes if we let it happen. But I thought we rose to the occasion and didn't let the nerves stop us to start.
whistle of play.
Complain about that start. Things were falling. I thought the start was a start full of confidence. It was a typical start for us. Not to sound cocky, but that was a typical start for us, which was great. Which is exactly what we needed. I needed a good start from them because I didn't want them to start feeling the way the last game had gone. I didn't want them thinking they were going to blow them away. So I needed a strong start. So that just showed me confidence in my girls. It showed me they were in the moment. And I thought that first quarter, if you look at that first quarter of basketball, that's a good first quarter. That's two really solid teams. That's, I think, the two right teams playing against each other in the finals. The foul trouble hit both teams. Both teams sees one of their stars go out. So the second quarter becomes, I think, a completely different game of basketball on both ends of it. But I think if you ask Kevin Gibbs or myself, that first quarter is I think that's a great start for both teams.
I feel like, especially watching that first quarter, I felt like the start was phenomenal. I think that we were really able to just kind of play off of each other's strengths and play in a way where we looked very polished and put together in the first quarter, and I think that really helped us get off to a really good start.
I think we got off to a really good start offensively. I was kind of a little bit nervous just about us kind of finding our rhythm, just like on this court that we never played on. It definitely was bigger and longer, and we kind of had to get used to like the hoops kind of being different than what we're used to. Like they're kind of like in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, but I feel like honestly it didn't really bother us in the beginning. I think we were doing a good job offensively.
It felt like we were so close. Like, a 3-point game is really nothing, essentially. I was treating it in my head like we were 0-0. I think that the second quarter, compared to the first, we kind of fluctuated. I think the first was more scoring driven, and I think the second was more defensively driven, which ebbs and flows within the game, but it's all a game of runs. But I think that having one of our main scorers out definitely hurt us in the second quarter, and probably one of the reasons that we were down.
Going into halftime, I was okay. For one reason in particular, we didn't have Liz that entire second quarter. And typically she is one of, if not my leading scorer. So for us to at least hold the fort I think it was a 10-5 quarter. I think that was what the scoring was, 10-5. For us to be able to, it's only 5 points, but for us to be able to hold them to 10 without Liz and to only walk in down by 3, I didn't foresee us. I didn't think we were going to go into that halftime with any Lady Astros heads down, and they weren't. They still felt right in it. So to kind of have the first quarter that we did and handle the second quarter, I felt confident going into the second half with what had happened in the first.
Honestly, at halftime, I think we were really excited. I think it was a good half for us, definitely, especially defensively. I think the first time we played them, we definitely gave up a lot more points going into the half. So I think we did a good job. And then going into the second half, I kind of felt like I might have had a little bit of an edge from sitting. Like I kind of had like fresh legs when I was subbing in, but I just wanted to get back out on the court so bad.
We definitely felt like we were still in a good spot. I think we were only down like maybe 3 or 6 or something like that, and we knew they were going to go on runs. We talked about that before the game.
I think we felt pretty good. Obviously, we wanted to like stay on top for the first half. That's the goal always. But we knew they were a very good team, and so we knew they were going to make runs. But we also knew that our time would come to make runs as well. So as long as it was always within a certain amount, like we knew we could still compete. And I think we were very proud of that first half. That was some of the best basketball we played all season. We definitely showed up and competed more than we did the first time. It showed how we had grown since the first game we played Bedford. And I think that that was just a pretty solid half, and we were obviously still recognizing that it was going to be a long road ahead for the second half, but that we were in a pretty good spot.
Collected ourselves, and we really were like back into a normal mechanism of like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do, this is that, and it didn't feel as like there was still pressure, but it felt less like relieved now that we had added Liz back in, because she is one of our main scoring points.
The main reason we came out to a strong start in the third is like what all the captains said at halftime. Sydney's like a really great captain, and at halftime she was telling us all that we needed to move and that we needed to want the ball, because if we didn't, then she just wasn't going to be able to pass it to us if we didn't want the ball.
like the second half of the third quarter, it just felt like nothing was going right for us. Like we were trying to call timeouts to kind of just like settle ourselves. But I don't know, after that third quarter, it just felt like nothing was going right for us. Like our shots weren't falling. We definitely had trouble scoring in the second half. I think in the fourth quarter we scored like 5 points. Just it wasn't going right for us in that moment.
I think that a lot of rotationally throughout the game with who was in, I think by the end our legs were definitely tired, and I think that played a huge part in kind of I don't want to say, like, I guess our collapse in the fourth quarter. I think if we were able to maybe keep up with their speed, I think it would have been a much closer game.
Yep, the last 2 minutes of the third, they went on a 7-point run, I believe. That became, in the moment I didn't understand it, but I think now looking back on it, that became enough to make it almost insurmountable because we just didn't have the legs to fight back. Wasn't from a lack of effort. We just ran out of steam, and so if you pay attention to it, everything's short. Every shot we're taking short, it starts to become a little more forced. People are trying to do things for themselves to make up for it for the team, and we kind of lost the system in the fourth quarter. I don't think it was because anybody was doing it purposely. I don't think it had anything to do with IQ. I think it was just tired there was a timeout, and they couldn't even look. They were having a hard time looking up at me because they just had given me everything they had. It's just a big court. It caught up to us. And on top of that, they're the engine that doesn't stop for Bedford. So those three guards, they didn't even look tired. So it was just my girls battling and battling and battling, and it just became too much of a uphill climb.
The score does not justify how the game went at all. It was back and forth the whole time up until the end. And it was very unfortunate, but I think we just made a couple, it was tiny things that we did, like rushing the ball up the court when we didn't have to. We could have slowed things down so we weren't playing as much defense, or just silly turnovers, even on my part.
I think it was just a lot of little mistakes that should have been controlled but weren't. And also I think a lot of it was just fatigue and people being tired at the end of the game, and you could definitely tell that people were tired, and I think that's probably what did us in.
It started towards midway through third, and then most of the fourth. It was definitely there was a couple plays where I remember I was sitting and I was like, there's that one play, and then there was that one play, because we would come back and then we would go back down, and I just feel like we needed to compose ourselves more, and the composure wasn't there. We started to, I think it was rush and panic, and then it was stupid passes, not being in the right place, just those type of things. How do I word this? We just weren't there. We were there, but we weren't there. I don't know how to explain it.
It's a little disappointing because it was a lot of stuff that's wasn't even in our control. It was one small thing, like you said, that just snowballed. So it was kind of sitting there. It's I can feel it we're losing it, but there's nothing we can do about it. And so that was a little frustrating. But I think also it just felt like we were running out of time. If there had been a couple more minutes on the clock, we could have done something, but it was just they did too much too late for us to come back from it.
It's not about me. I had to dissociate from that, let go of my sadness, let go of my disappointment. My first message was, as they were all walking off the court, heads up, keep your heads up and your chins up, be proud of yourself. It's bigger than the game of basketball in that moment. I have 6 seniors now whose career just ended. Some of them are maybe never going to play basketball again. That's it for them. I have a group of underclassmen who are mourning now those seniors, who are also upset about the loss. So it becomes less about me and more about them. And the whole message was, chins up, heads up, you're queens. You're one of the last 2 teams. You got here with another team and you had a chance at it. So there's nothing to be angry or sad about. Grab your medal and hold your heads high.
Captains of the Pinkerton Astros, please come forward to accept the Division I runner-up plaque and medal. You too, Coach. Spread them out. We're going to acknowledge all the members of the team as well. Starting off, number 3, Kaylee Dupuy. Number 12, Emily Leonard. Number 13, Devin LeBron. Number 14, Alexandria White. Number 15, Keegan Wright. Number 20, Hayden Rossess. Number 21, Brooke Benz. Number 23, Elizabeth LeBoy. Number 24, Kaya Brown. Number 25, Mia Marshall. Number 30, Julia Cahoon. Number 31, Courtney Russell. Number 32, Sophia Polini. And number 33, Sydney Gerasi. Congratulations to the Astros for one great season.
It was just horrible in the moment, but I mean, looking back, it was just a great season, like unbelievable season for us. I mean, just being able to make it to the championship was such an achievement itself, and had a great regular season and playoff run. So I was just super proud of us looking back, and even though the last game didn't go the way that we wanted it to, I mean, I feel like we went to that game with nothing to lose. I think it was just a great season. Looking back on it, just so many memories were made, so many amazing moments for the whole team.
I think the season as a whole was really a phenomenal one. I think that there was so much good to come from it, and more good that wasn't just basketball. I think, like you were saying earlier, the chemistry on our team is immense. Like, we're just very close, very tight-knit group, and I think that this season really proved what we could do. And I think that the loss at the end doesn't reflect our overall great season.
I couldn't be more proud of my team. I couldn't be more proud of the girls. I love every single one of them. Knowing that playing like my last few games, like that was my last game with Devin I'll ever play. That was my last game. That was my last game with Liz. I have one more game with Liz, so I'm excited about that. But it was just like, it was a lot of laughs, and there was a lot of fun. Like, I would not have traded that team for any team in the entire world. I'm so glad it was with them. I'm so glad I could like openly bawl my eyes out in front of them. I'm so glad we could all make jokes about like how we looked after the game. Like, I love every single one of them. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I am very proud of this team, of my teammates, of what we accomplished. Everybody, all my teachers have asked me how I feel, and they always tell me like this team should be proud of what they did, and I totally agree. Obviously not the result we were looking for, but just getting there, being the top 2 teams, it means a lot to us, I think. And our goal was to get there and to compete, and I think that's exactly what we did.
Definitely stung at first, even a couple of days after. Right now it still stings that we lost the game, but don't be upset that it's over, be happy that it happened, you know? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I mean, we have a lot to be proud of. We had a great season. We couldn't finish it off at the end, but I wouldn't have wanted to be on the journey with anybody else.
Obviously, it's disappointing to not win in the end because that's what we all wanted, but honestly, our main goal was just to get to the championship, and I'm so proud that we were able to do that and that I was able to do this with all my teammates because I just love them so much.
I said it to them at the start of the game, and I really emphasized it at the end of the game through a lot of tears, through them and me. I tried so hard to hold it back, but I also think it's important for them to see adults with emotions, and it's okay to have emotions. This has been a burden for me. We get to the semis a lot, and there's been a lot of pressure I put on myself that I'm not the kind of coach who can get a team to the finals. I think I've already said it, I feel like the winningest losing coach in D1. I'm the David to Goliath. I'm a 19-1 team who's the David to a Goliath. So when I look back on this is the team that brought me there, brought me to my second finals. So I already, in spite of it, trust me, I'm feeling it. I want that win, I want that championship, but I'm already looking back and just feeling thankful for this group of girls and this group of seniors for what they've done. We got to UNH and we got to play, and for 3 quarters, man, we're right there with them. So I will look back on this group as a group that was just completely a family, had complete unity, really played together, and we're runners-up in D1 in the state of New Hampshire with a in the end, I think a 19 or 20-2 record. So I will always look back fondly on this, and I have no regrets, not a single regret about how the season played out.
All the good times with my teammates that were maybe even off the court. I think that mostly I'll just remember the group of girls. I think this group of girls is really special, and we've gone through a lot together throughout the 4 years, and I think that is kind of the main takeaway, is just our relationship as a team.
That's a moment like most teams don't even get to have, and to even make it to a state championship. Most teams don't get that. So the fact that we even got there, I think we'll be proud of ourselves, because looking back on like the grand scheme of things, like you said, we'll be very proud of what we had accomplished then, because right now that's all we can think about. But I think later in life we'll be like, we got to experience what it was like to play in front of that type of crowd and honestly hold our own for the majority of the game.
I think I'll just remember like how close we were as a team and just how much fun we had. Like not even the stuff on the court, but just off the court, we just had so much fun. And just the amazing wins that we've had over the past 4 years. And I think that last loss will definitely stick in my mind a little bit, kind of stick out. But everything else was just amazing.
I will look back. I probably won't even think about the championship and just see it as a great season. The previous year, I was close with our only senior, and she was like the only one I talked to at practice. She was like my person for everything. So coming into this season, I was not sure what it was going to look like, but that our team is just so welcoming. That's what I'm going to remember, is how great the people were that I was surrounded by, and we had a lot of fun. We got to a lot of opportunities to do a lot of cool things, spend time together outside of the court. And I think that's what I'll remember the most.
It feels great right now, to be honest, but I'm a competitor, so even in 5 years, I'm going to look back and be like, oh, we could have won that game, you know? But overall, I'm just happy that I got to spend this year with my favorite people, and it was just a great year. It was full of fun, so.
Obviously, I'm going to take the mistakes and turn them into what I can change for the future, but honestly, it was a great season for all of us. We definitely improved a lot from last year, and it was so much better than last year, like, just mentally. Like, I think last year it took, like, the worst out of all of us, and I think this year we were able to bond over the mistakes of the past, and we were able to push through them and get to the championship. And at the end of the game, someone came up to me at the end and they were telling me that obviously this wasn't what I wanted to hear, but there's only 2 teams from this division that get that far, and so obviously that's a huge accomplishment in itself.
In my opinion, I know Sid didn't get it, but I think Sid's a first-team All-State this year already. So I know she got second, but I'm below bias. I think she's a first-team All-Stater. I think she'll be that next year. I think Benz has a significant chance to be a second-team, maybe first-team All-Stater. The way she developed this year, she's a serious threat. In a way that she might not have been recognized by other coaches last year, she is definitely on their radar now. And Kaylee fluctuated during the season. She was that little hidden gem for us. She showed up in the playoffs, so she became, I believe, a serious threat as well, which other teams now. So you have that big 3 right there. You add the addition of Emily. You add the addition of Hayden, who got some serious minutes. Emily's already been a starter. And I got the 3 freshmen on the team. I have Taya, I have Mia, and I have Courtney. Already had a great talk with Taya just recently about the future's yours, kid. I know she didn't get a lot of playing time, but we watched her practice and know exactly what Taya can do. See, that's a core of 8 right there with that big 3 I just said. I have to believe we're knocking on doors again next year. And I had a JV team that won the state championship. We're the largest school in the state of New Hampshire. There's got to be some girls coming in.
Down to the locker room after the game, and the first thing I'm thinking is, this is exactly where I want to be next year. But I don't want to be down in this locker room. I want to be up there celebrating. So I'm super motivated to get back there next year. We have a lot of talent coming up. Working over the summer is definitely going to help us out. We got to be in the gym all the time. We got some very promising players coming up. Some of our JV girls I think could be very well if they just develop themselves a little bit. But yeah, our seniors would definitely be missed. I mean, not only the ones who are on the court all the time, but the other ones who are on the bench always cheering for us.
We're definitely super motivated already. I was just talking to Sydney downstairs saying that next year's going to be our year. We thought it was going to be this year, but obviously that wasn't the outcome. But we're still going to battle and we're still going to fight because we want to get back there next year.
It taught me to be early to everything, there's things bigger than basketball, which is a lot of things that Coach Buskey says a lot, but it's definitely things that I'll take away with me for life. I feel like there's a lot in the program with how it's run to kind of set you up for life more than basketball, and different lessons that you learn through being on the team that will carry you further in life, and I think that that's definitely one of the biggest takeaways.
That you can't always go into everything with expectations of how they're going to go. You can have hopes for everything that's going to happen and work towards those hopes, but you need to understand that things are going to happen the way they're going to happen and just be there in the moment for them.
I think probably just like learning what it means to be a real team, just having from freshman year on to now, just like the relationships you make when you're on a team like this that are so close is just something I'll never forget. And just 4 years of learning and kind of working my way up through the program. I mean, I just remember when I was like a little girl just going to the Lady Astro camps, and I just like dreamed of being on the team one day. So just to finally have that happen, and now that it's over, looking back on just some amazing memories I'll never forget.
That there's more to life than just this sport, because it is a lot of our lives, and Buskey has to tell us, go do other things with your lives, because she knows we play basketball year round. And I just think that was a big takeaway, and she prides on being ourselves and us doing our own things, because we know we play basketball, but she also wants us to have our own personalities, and she like embraces all of our own individual crazy cuckoo personalities. So I just think my biggest takeaway is getting to be myself and do my own thing, and knowing that we're all going to do great things.